Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today's episode, who do I think I am? Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be an update for my Pan That Palette for 2024. I'm actually working on 2 palettes this year. This year I am following along with the prompts from the Fantastic Ladies collab. I am working on my Wet n Wild color icon in my Glamour Squad, and then for the Better Together I am working on my Smashbox Cover Shot Major Metals eye palette. And my goal for the Smashbox was just to get more usage on it in general, and my goal for the Wet n Wild is to hit pan in every shade. I feel like I'm saying this in all of my panning project updates, but my progress has been a little bit slower because I did get married and go on my honeymoon in June. So June was sort of a wash in terms of my panning products. This Wet n Wild palette is unfortunately broken, which makes it not ideal to travel with. And I also just didn't really want to use these shades on my wedding day. So I ended up building my own palette with the exact shades that I wanted, and that was the palette that I took with me on my travels and on my honeymoon. So there has been a little bit of slower progress because of that, but I do have one pan that I've hit in the Wet n Wild palette since the last update. So I will go ahead and show you what this palette was looking like last time. And here is what it's looking like today. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see it, but I did hit a really small pan in the yellow gold shimmer. It's definitely hard to see in the camera, but it is there, I promise. So that is really exciting. I'm really happy that I at least have one pan to show for the last few months. I will go through and update you on my uses on this palette in this project shade by shade. So in the lighter transition shade, I had already hit pan on this on the 26th use in this project, but I have used it a few more times, so I've now used it 34 times. The champagne gold, I hit pan on the 9th use, and I've now used it 16 times. I'm kind of working my way toward side pan in this shade. I feel like it is not too far, so that would be a really nice goal to work on in the meantime, since my goal is just to hit pan in every shade. I don't want to just discontinue use of the shades that I've already hit pan on, so I'm kind of trying to give myself some more motivation to continue using them. So for this one, I am going to try to hit side pan. In the yellow gold, as I mentioned, I did hit pan. I've used this 10 times, and I hit pan on the 10th use. The burgundy matte, I've used 8 times so far this project. The black matte I've used 22 times so far this project. Jumping down to the bottom row, I've used the rose shimmer 9 times and the plum shimmer 9 times. I've used the rust orange matte 21 times. The neutral brown matte already had pan to start when I rolled this palette into this project, so I've only used this one 6 times so far. And then the dark brown matte I have used 36 times. So my goal at the last update was to have a pan in the gold and to have some dips started in the other 2 shimmers in this palette, the pinky one and the more plummy one. And I feel like you definitely can see those dips started in these shades. I'm not gonna lie, they are not my favorite shades in the palette, which is I think why I hit pan on the other shimmers first. This pink one, I can give you a finger swatch of these. This pink one looks really pretty in the viewfinder, but there's something about the way it looks on the eyes that just does not look very flattering. And then the plum is really more of a bronze. I always think it's going to be more plummy than it is, so I always try to pair it with the pink shade, and then I end up not really loving the combo of the 2. So I'm trying to figure out some other ways of using these shimmers. I've thought about trying to use this more bronzy one maybe as a liner. I think I'm going to give that a try because I would really like to have pan in this for the next update. I think it's my best bet in terms of the shades in here that are left that I have the most progress on. The pink one, on the other hand, I just really have no idea. I'm gonna have to figure out how to layer this with another shade that I like over the top of it. I've also been continuously working on one spot in this brown matte shade as a liner shade and an outer corner deepening shade. I'm not sure how well you can see this little area here where I've been dipping my angled brush, but I'm really hoping that I can hit a pan in this using it that way. I have tried this shade in my brows and it's a little bit too warm, so it looks a little bit weird, unfortunately, because that would be a really easy way to use this. But for now, I'm just going to continue to use it as a liner shade. Hopefully I can hit pan in the more bronzy plum shimmer, and then my next goal will be to hit pan in some of these mattes, and the pink might be the last to get pan because I just don't love it. So until I figure out a way to use it that I really like, I'm not going to worry too much about forcing myself to use it. I also have a little kind of chip in the pan in the burgundy matte. I think the lid might have chipped out some of the product here, but I've kind of been using that to my advantage and sticking my angled liner brush into that little dip there when I do either a burgundy liner or use this as my deepening shade. So hopefully I can hit pan that way too. It's kind of on the side here, but hey, a pan's a pan, even if it comes from the lid chipping out part of the product. So I think my goals for the next update are definitely going to be to have pan in the bronzy shimmer and pan or really, really close to pan in either the brown matte or the burgundy matte, whichever one seems like it's getting closer first. I think the black matte and the more burnt orange matte still have a long way to go. So I just gotta keep chipping away at this palette now that I'm back from my honeymoon and my wedding. It's funny, every time I do a pan that palette, it's around this time of the year where I start to lose hope and think I better just jump ship. But I'm trying to hang on, and I still have half the year left. I don't know why I feel like the year's pretty much over. We still have a lot of time left, so I still think I can hit pan in all these shades. It's just gonna take some renewed focus. So I am trying to keep the faith and continue on with the project, and hopefully I can reach some or all of those goals by the next update. Next, let's talk about my Better Together palette, which is the Smashbox Cover Shot Major Metals Eye Palette. Again, I'm just trying to get more use on this one, and I have gotten more use on it, but it is just slow going. So I'll show you what the palette looked like last time, and I'll show you what it looks like today. Hopefully you can see a bit of usage, if not just that my palette looks like a bit of a mess. That is because I've been trying to dip in here more often. I'm still kind of hoping for a pan in this more chandelier shade, but we may or may not get there by the end of the year, and that is completely fine. I really just wanted to get some more use on this palette because these are gorgeous shimmers and I have not used it enough, and it's the oldest palette in my collection. So I will go through shade by shade and let you know how many times I've used each one. I've used the shade Chandelier 18 times. It's got a sizable dip in it. Hopefully, maybe I can hit pan in this by the end of the year. It's probably the only shade in this palette I could hit pan on, if any, so we'll keep a watch out for that one. I have not used the shade Ignited. I have not used the shade Out of This World. The shade Heat Index I've used 3 times. The shade Rose Plated I've used twice. And then Go Platinum, Social Currency, and Garnet All I have only used each of those 1 time. So am I getting use out of this palette in this project? Yes. Is it a ton of use? Is it impressive? No, not really. I don't know what it is. I'm definitely not drawn to the red and the purple in this palette, and I find it difficult to make myself want to use both of these gold. They're almost like glitter shades, and they're really, really similar. One's a little bit more bronzy and one's a little bit more gold. I mean, they're stunning, but I don't know. I'm finding it hard to want to use them in my looks for some reason. Maybe I should do some looks just focused on each of the shades in this palette. That might be a nice challenge to myself for next time. Maybe that's what I'll do for my goal for this one, is to use each of the shades in this palette 1 time and try to build a look that I like with each of the shades. So that way, at least I know one look that I can do with this palette to try and get some more use on it, but hopefully I have more exciting progress to report in the next update. But that is everything. That is my Pan That Palette update. 1 pan, so I'll take it in terms of progress. This is such a hard project for me because I always want to reach into all of my other eyeshadow palettes. And then I talk myself out of it because I want to see progress in this and meet the goals that I've set out for myself. So it's always a battle mentally between what palette I'm going to use for my makeup. Let me know in the comments down below if you are doing a pan that palette or a pan those palettes this year, how it's going for you. Do you have any tips for me, especially for any of those shades that I'm finding it kind of difficult to use? I would love your advice and your help, and hopefully we can encourage and motivate each other in the comments to keep going, because we still have half the year left and I think that we can meet our goals. If you'd like to keep up with my project panning progress or just see other videos where I talk about makeup, especially eyeshadow, do eye looks, all of those sorts of things, make sure you subscribe before you leave and give the video a like if you liked it. Thank you for watching today, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.